Hiya folks, I've been having a bit of a tidy up. Let's show you. See you in a minute. Right, well as you can see now, it's now in situ. I've built a little platform for it and it's the ideal working height for me. Let me show you. So as you can probably see, I've built it here where my old toolbox used to sit there. I had it there. All I've done basically was cut the worktop down. I've got a consumer unit up here now. Let me show you. All I've got to do is just turn that on and that switches the oven on. The oven itself is at the perfect working height for me anyway. As you can see, it opens up fine like that. I might put a little catch on there just so I can hook and hold that door open, because when I'm hanging stuff up, that's going to be swinging shut all the time, isn't it? I've put another rod inside for hanging stuff on, as you can see there, and if I want, all I have to do is just push it in and I can just remove it like that and take it out if I've got longer things to hang in there. So I thought that was ideal and that works perfectly there. So I'm really happy with that, and as I say, it's an ideal size. I've enclosed the top now and also around the side, so you can't actually get to any of them live terminals on the back now, so I'm well pleased with that. And this is really nice and sturdy, that's not actually going anywhere. So I'm in the process of tidying up. I've had a few questions about the powder coating system itself. I'll try and answer them as best as I can with what I already know. As there's no high voltage at all in this system. Someone said, can you hook up a separate earth rod into the ground, for example, and then just connect that out? Yes, you can do that, that's perfectly fine. Someone else said, can you put a little lead from an earth point on your house somewhere, like from the 13 amp socket lead power supply? You can get an earth from there possibly. I don't know. Yes, I suppose that will work. And one of the things I didn't realise as well is that, especially with the high voltage type system powder coating guns, if you're trying to powder coat into a crevice or a corner, for example, you get what they call the Faraday cage effect, and the powder doesn't sort of direct into there because of the high voltage, and that can cause a problem. Well, this being a lot lower voltage, obviously it's like static voltage, I suppose you would say, you don't have that a problem so much. In other words, you can powder into corners and little crevices and stuff like that, because you haven't got the high voltage there to sort of bounce the powder away, so to speak, in corners and in crevices and stuff like that. For example, if I was powder coating, let's have a look here, I don't know what we've got here. If I was trying to powder coat this thing, for example, getting in that crevice there, with a high voltage system, it can sort of create a sort of a bouncing out effect, and you can find it difficult to powder inside, even though you're pointing the gun right at it. The high voltage will cause some sort of reaction, so to speak, and you won't be able to really get the powder in there. But with this system, it's not a problem. You don't have that Faraday cage effect, so you powder coating in crevices and stuff like that shouldn't be a problem. So I've been told. Someone else mentioned to me that one of the differences could be, they don't know for sure, obviously I'm not too sure myself, is that with the higher voltage systems you're able to put on a thicker coat of powder. Well, powder coating really should be a replacement for paint in my eyes, so if you're trying to put on too much heavier coat, I can't see that, I could see that being a problem with regards to if you're putting things back together, for example, like tolerances. Provided you've got a full overall cover of your product, like the things that I've powder coated already, then everything should be okay as far as I can see. But I do understand that some things need a heavier coat, probably more industrial type things I would imagine, may need a heavier coat of powder, and that may be the reason for the higher voltage systems in a more sort of professional situation with regards to larger items maybe. I don't know, that's just me guessing off the top of my head. So anyway, I've been down to the car boot sale and the jumble sales today, and I picked up a few things. Let me show you. I've got this old thing. Look at this, look. It's an old, I don't think it's that old. It's an old paraffin cooker, and it's ideal for powder coating. So we got that there, and the reason why I got this, it was only £4, and it's got 3 different colours. You've got the blue on the base there, you've got this bit here, this metal bit here, that can, I think this is painted originally by the looks of it, and then you've got this white chamber here. I'm not sure whether you can powder coat that. I think that might be powder coated by the looks of it, and this top bit which is black, so it's got a little door on it. I don't know if it opens or not, does it? Oh yeah, look. There's a little burner in there, look, I don't know if you can see that or not. and this is obviously a regulator for the flame or whatever. So I've got that, and I found these old torches here. Look. Now again, these are ideal. I remember this sort of thing back in the 1960s, late 60s and early 70s. Again, they're all tin plate. This is called a Starlight Torch, but it's got one switch on it. Very, very crude, as you can see. It's grey in colour or silver, and it's the old bulb types. Now I'm not really interested in converting these to LEDs. A lot of people say, oh, when you've restored a lamp, or for example, why don't you just change it to an LED? Well, this is more period piece. I'm just bringing these back to as new condition, getting rid of all the rust basically, or people say patina. I'm not too sure about that, but anyway, so there's that one, and this one obviously looks a lot older. It's got this big magnifying lens on the front of it, look, and this little brass switch there, and opening the back up if I can with one hand. Inside, very basic, very crude, and again ideal for sort of powder coating. The inside is all there. It's not rusted through at all. It's got a pin in the hinge there, and I think that will be handy for powder coating. For example, that separates there. Look, there's a hook there, and obviously that's some sort of bicycle clip holder maybe, or for a belt, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look, it just lifts up. But I found that intriguing. It had this big magnifying glass lens on it with this brass surround, so I thought, yeah, that'd be ideal for powder coating as well. So I've got that, and I found this as well. Now I know I've done a few lamps, but this is a dinky little one, very small. Look at the size of it to my hand. Look, very, very small. And again, it's lost all its paint, to be honest with you. It's got the glass there. It's got some sort of writing on it. I don't know what it is, but I paid 50p for that, and I thought that was a bargain at 50p, and definitely worth me doing a little restoration. I could do it in gold and black, I suppose. I've got both of them powder coats. I think they look quite nice. So yeah, that's another one. And one other thing I've got is this old thing. Now this is an old Black & Decker drill. Now I remember back in the 70s, or it might have been the late 60s, I'm not sure. I was only about 5 years old, and my dad had this exact drill, and I remember as a little kid finding this fascinating, that you could press a trigger and it's like a gun. I used to see it as a gun, and I remember as a kid pressing this, and just every time my dad got it out to do some work or whatever, I used to just press him, and he used to say, shut that thing off, take that, my mum used to say, take that thing off him. And anyway, I remember it being sort of newer than this. It was the same colour. It's like a turquoise blue or a dark bluey green or whatever. And I remember being in my kitchen once. I come home from dinner, school from dinner, I say about 5 or 6 years old, and I picked it up, and again I squeezed it, and next thing I knew, it thrown me across the room. I got a shock off of it, and it literally did throw me across the room. And I remember my dad taking the plug off like this. Again, I've not had the plug off for this yet, and I remember him taking the plug off. Oh, this one's got an earth on it. The one my dad had, it might have had an earth on, I don't know, but I remember one of the cables, you can't see them here, but one of the cables, I think it was a live one, had actually come out and was touching somewhere with one of the other, I don't know, I can't remember. One of these cables had come out basically, and I got a belt, as I say. I think it shooted down to earth or something. But yeah, that was it. That's why I got a shock, and that's why I say I remember this drill. And I thought, I saw this at the car boot, so I think I paid about £4 for it. And I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll restore this to near enough new condition if I can do that. And again, it's another retro item of my youth sort of thing, of my being a little kid in the early 70s, probably the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s anyway. So yeah, there's that. So I've just got these few little things, as I said to you. What I'll try to do, I've also got an Instagram account, and what I'll try and do, I'll take pictures of these and put them on my Instagram account so you can see what I've got sort of coming up basically. And as far as the powder coating goes, yeah, we're going to have loads of fun. Someone said, does it use a lot of powder and stuff like that? Well, that's the idea of keeping it coming out of the gun slow at the end of the day. If you've got it coming out slow, you can turn the pressure up and zoom it out and then waste your powder. And then someone else said they didn't see why I had a fan at the back. Well, that's to take away the powder, the excess powder, so that you're not building up loads of powder in where you're actually where you're actually powder coating. I didn't. Ideally, the ideal situation for me wasn't to do it outside. That's the only place I could do it at the moment. But I'm having a little mess about in my work area here. I'm trying to create now an internal spray booth for the powder coating, and that way you don't have all the powder sort of blowing out of the gun, so you can have a nice low pressure when you're actually applying it. I'll be powder coating this, as I said to you. This will be done in a nice either a bluey green or whatever, see what colours they can come up with. But I'll show you what I've got here at the moment. I've got this marine blue. That's a nice marine blue. I've got this high chrome, which I can't wait to try out. The high chrome, and also the clear coat, which is like a white powder until it actually cures. So I've got them. I've got a gloss green there, and I've also got a titanium, which is nice. And we've also got the gold gloss. I've got the white gloss there, and the black and the red, which are still in the box. As you can see, you can buy the powders from Electrostatic Magic, and as you can see, they cure for 10 minutes at 180 degrees C. But any questions about powder coating, obviously I'm no expert, I'm just learning at the end of the day, but you're on that journey with me. But just give them a call. And apparently I've been told by someone that they have brought the system abroad. They do ship abroad as well. I'm sure Carl or Philippa will enlighten you a bit further with their business for shipping abroad and stuff like that. So yeah, just drop them an email or whatever on their website. If you can't get through to them on the phone, they're probably out and about at car shows and stuff like that, because they do literally travel all over the country. So just bear with them. It's not that they're ignoring your calls or ignoring your emails or whatever. I may email them one day and I'll get a reply back 2 or 3 days later, sort of thing. So they're obviously very, very busy. So anyway, this is my little setup, as you know, and this is what I've got for the background of the powder spraying booth. I've got this little 240 volt fan, which I took out of the back of the cooker, if you remember. I'm going to turn this into a sort of a little spray area where I can put some filter gauze over the front of it as well. I've got loads of that. Those of you waiting for the transit van videos, Jimmy was supposed to be spraying the van the weekend. He obviously didn't do it. So today being Sunday, he's hopefully going to be doing it tomorrow. So we'll be going down filming the final part of just blowing in them wheel arches and them seals, as you know, what we've done for the bodywork on the transit van. So if you're interested in that, the next video out should be one of them. I'll be doing some powder coating videos very, very shortly now. So watch out for them as well as also me retro hacks restorations as well. So I thought, while it's Sunday, I'm just tinkering about today. As you see, I've been clearing the workshop up and getting this ready. I thought, I've got them old Honda engines under the bench there, which again were left for scrap. I bought them as scrap. 2 of them I've got running now, so I thought we'd just pour another one up and just have a little go, just to see if we can get it running. It'll be like an old start, cold start. So let's go outside and have a look at one of them. Right, well, as you can see, under my workbench, again, all sitting outside, I've got 1, 2, 3 engines here, all old Honda engines. I don't know anything about them. I don't know if they're seized up or what. Well, we can't obviously start this one up. This one looks like it's seized up, to be honest with you. Let's see if we can find one with that actually turns over. Oh yeah, that one turns over, that big one there, that's got a generator on it. In actual fact, that turns over a bit easy. Oh, that one turns over as well. That feels like it's got a bit of compression. Let's pull this one out. I don't know what it is, let's have a look. Right, well, here it is. It's a Honda engine, obviously. I don't know anything about this whatsoever, apart from it seems to have a bit of compression and it turns over, and there must be some sort of recoil unit which is missing on there, I would imagine. So it's very dirty. It's been sitting outside. There's a spark plug there, so that's the spark plug in there. What else? I did notice at the back there that there's some wires hanging out down here. Now I'm of the impression that some of these have got low oil crank sensors on them, and I'm not too sure exactly what this is, so until we see if it's got spark, I won't know whether or not this needs to go somewhere. So the dipstick oil, it's got one either side. You've got one this side, and there's also another one over here. I'm not too sure why it's got 2, but let's see what it's got in there, if anything. Yep, well that's flowing. I can see oil just there. So it's got oil in that side, which is a good thing. As I say, I don't know any history on this whatsoever. And this one, this side. Dipstick on that one, and that one seems to be up to level as well, so that's a good sign. The exhaust is there. Coming inside, the fuel tank you can't see it, it's bone dry in there, and also pretty clean from rust, so I'm happy with that. I suppose one of the first things I can do is to check whether or not it's got spark or not, but let's just take the top off of this air filter wire here. It just gives us a bit more room and access to the spark plug, so we'll have a little look under here. That will need a new one if we can get it running. Let's put that to one side. I'm just going to turn the compressor on, get the air on just to blow around there. I don't want no crap dropping in there. Right, okay, that's a bit better. Before we do that, I've got this lever here, which looks to be some sort of throttle control. And on the front there, as you can probably see, there's two more levers. This one is obviously a choke. That seems to be free. And this one is the fuel control for the fuel tap, as it says there. That way is on, but as I say, it's bone dry, I would imagine, at the moment. And I'm probably assuming that the carb's going to be blocked up. So I'll leave it on choke for the minute. And let's just take this spark plug out. And someone did remark on one of my other engine strip down videos, which I've done on these Honda engines, that when I go to pull start it, I either get a drill attachment, which I have done now, and if I can't have a drill attachment, bolt the thing down or hold it down with a couple of clamps or something like that, which yes is a good idea. I've got clamps, but I just forget to do it, you know. Bit rich, but it looks okay. The gap looks okay. So, again, whether or not it will have spark will depend on what that control thing does. So if I just hold that there. Oh, it's got a spark. So that makes me want to stick a bit of fuel inside and just see if we can start it. Right, okay, so I've got a bit of fuel here. I'm just going to whack it in there. Put that plug back in. Again, I bought these as scrap, so I don't know anything about them. And the only reason I bought them is because they were Honda engines. Get in there. There we go, just nip it up like that. Right. Right, I don't know which way this turns to start, but I'm going to put it on choke. I'm going to say out clockwise. I don't know. Let's see if it fires. Did it go to fire then? Yeah, I think it fired, didn't it? I'm sure that ran. Let's try and put some juice in it. Now again, we're taking it for granted that the fuel tank and the carb system is going to be working. I don't know. Let me just turn that. That's off at the moment. So let's just drop a bit of fuel in the tank. Again, we don't know if the carb's alright, but I'm sure that fired. I'm sure that fired. And what I'm thinking, that this wire here might be to shut it off, because I can't see any way of shutting it off, you see. That's the throttle, obviously. So I'm anticipating that I need to be able to short that out if it does run. So what I'll do here, I'll just bear this end up so that I can touch that down to earth if needed to be, to shut it off. There we go, just leave that hanging there for the minute. Right, fuel on that way. Again, we don't know what's going to happen here, so let's just try it. Come on. Oh, lovely. Let's try it without a choke on. Look at that. Oh, and it purrs along. I've got a bit of fuel leaking. Fuel leaking out of fuel. That's not a problem. Oh, that's got that power. Look at that. Now, I don't know whether or not this needs shorting out. Will that stop it? Yes, there we go. Oh, that's fantastic. That's a brilliant little engine. Now, how reliable are blinking Honda engines? This thing, I've had it here for, oh, I can't think, not, been a couple of years, I think, since I bought these. And they've been sitting outside in all weathers, getting wet. And the person who sold them to me had them in his garage. He'd had them there at least 7 or 8 years, I think he told me. It might have even been longer. And they've just stood. See, we've got a bit of drippage coming out there. Let me just start that again. That was started so well. Smoking a bit. It's puffing out a bit of smoke. Not too sure about why that is, but just let it warm up for a minute. Could be overfilled, you see, I don't know. Been in storage and just thrown in a corner and all tipped up the wrong way, so the exhaust could have filled up with oil. So I'll just see if it burns off. There we go. Been running for about 5 minutes now on its own, and there's no smoke coming out the exhaust, so obviously it's where it's been thrown into a corner, tipped up the wrong way, and probably the exhaust is filled up with oil. Turn the fan off. It got a bit smoky in here, so I'm just going to turn that off. Well, there you go. Well, that can't be bad, can it? A little Honda engine. This is now, again, it's worth restoring. It's worth painting up, restoring, and that will probably go straight into some sort of project it could do, couldn't it? In fact, it's probably worth £100 or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what these engines go for. It looks like quite a powerful engine. As I say, you can feel it when it's on the bench. And you saw how easy it started there, so yeah, I'm very well happy with that. Bearing in mind it's been sitting outside, and that was an old start, very old start, cold start as well. And I'm very surprised, as I said to you, that the carb wasn't blocked up as well. Now, the beauty of that is, I think that the tank was actually empty, full of fuel, and it probably might have been run dry. So it's when these carbs have got fuel left in them, and they've got ethanol in there and stuff like that, and that leaves that sort of sticky residue in them. So obviously this had been run dry and left, so there's a little bit of weepage, as I say, on the fuel tap there. That's not a problem. Definitely worth servicing this up, definitely worth cleaning it up, and it might be worth painting up as well. So who knows, I might get the powder coating out, powder coat the tank, powder coat that cover there, maybe do some other bracketry and stuff like that. But everything's free, everything works on it, and it's been sitting outside all that time. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thought I'd just do this little update vlog for you. And don't forget, we've got the transit video, spray videos, hopefully coming up tomorrow, or maybe later on in the week, but that will be finished then, and that's just got to be picked up by the chap who's going to be buying it. So I'll let him know. Obviously he's waiting for that anyway, so I did say it'd be last weekend, but we've been obviously busy with the powder coating oven. And don't forget, keep tuned. If you do like our channel, ring that little bell so that you know that we've got videos coming out. On the Retro Hacks channel, there's a video every Wednesday, as you know, for restoration stuff. If you like that sort of thing, ring that little bell as well, and that reminds you and sends it into your playlist. Anyway, thanks very much. See you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.